Okay, welcome back. We're on page 8. We are in the middle of example 4, and we've just calculated equipment impairment loss, and we finished the entries and noted that new depreciation calculation for next year. And I did that because on page 8, we're dealing with the same piece of equipment. 1 year later, the equipment from example 4 has the following information. Value in use is 35.5. Fair value less selling cost is 40,000. Record impairment or recovery of impairment. So, a year's gone by. So we need to calculate the depreciation for the year that just went by. So, new depreciation calculation for this year. Maybe put the next year. Let's just put 1 year and we'll know we're talking about this. How's that? Okay, so we're going to put the new carrying value minus the new residual divided by life remaining. So, our new carrying value is 40,000, as we said on the bottom of the last page. And how many years are remaining? If you look back at the last example, it said 5 years remaining in the useful life from the end of the year. So remember, we're at the beginning of the year. That was December 31st on the last page. Oh, it went really blurry. Okay. Well, let's try that again. So we've got the new V minus the new residual over life remaining. On this page, this is at year end when we did this. So now we're at the next year end, but we're recording this starting from January. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to put this on. Let's say this is year 1. And we're doing it December 31st. So now we're doing the same thing, year 2 to 31st, but we need it for year 2. Does that make sense? Okay. So here, at the end of the 31st year 1, there's 5 years remaining. We are calculating this at the beginning of year 2 for year 2. So that it says there's 5 years remaining. And that gives us 8,000 per year. So the new carrying value after this year, it was 40,000 minus 8,000 is 32,000. End of year 2. Okay, let's do this. So the first one, actually, why don't you try it? Do the recoverable amount and then see whether there's impairment. And then come on back. So, recoverable amount is value is compared to FV minus selling costs. Value in use is 35,500. Fair value less selling costs is 40. We are going to use this one because it's higher. Second, we compare recoverable value to CV. Our recoverable value is 40,000 and our carrying value is 32,000. So there's no impairment. Okay, so hopefully you got that perfectly. So there's no impairment, but with IFRS and the rational model, we can write up the to what it would have been without impairment. So you can write it up if you imagine the impairment last year didn't happen and it went along its merry way and had its depreciation and came to a carrying value this year. You could write this up to what that carrying value would have been. Okay? So you can't necessarily go, oh, I can write up this whole 1,000. Only what allows you. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to calculate that. So the maximum reversal. We need the original asset calculation, which was 45,000, and this is on page 7, was 45,000 at 5 years remaining. So if this impairment didn't happen, that's what we'd calculate our depreciation on. 45,000 divided by 5 is 9,000 per year. So after, sorry, I'm not going to put after, I'm going to put at the end of year 2, the carrying value would equal 45,000 minus 9,000 equals 36,000. So we can write up the asset from 32,000 to 36,000 because this is what the asset would have been without that impairment last year in year 1. So our entry, it's going to be kind of like a reversing entry. So we're going to debit accumulated impairment and credit recovery of loss for 4,000. Okay? So, IFRS, rational entity, getting it mixed up with consolidations. Yeah, I'm going to call it the rational model. The rational model, if you record impairment and then the next year the recoverable value goes up higher than your carrying value, you can write up your asset, like kind of put it back. But only to the amount that the original asset calculation would have been. So I can't go from 36,000 up to 32,000, that's where we are. 32,000 up to 40, I can only go up 36. Okay, one other little thing, I just wanted to draw a little line here. Don't forget, this can also be the asset itself or accumulated depreciation. Okay, I'm going to leave this And then we'll come back in the next video and do ASPE with the cost recovery, not rational impairment model.